What's up, everyone? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys NFL Week 16 here on prizepicks. So Merry Christmas to all you guys if you're watching this late on Christmas. If not, here we are on Sunday for the NFL slate. We're not doing an NBA video today. I know there's some NBA here on Sundays on Prize Picks, but we never do NBA on Sundays. We usually just cover NFL, leave it for that. We do cover Patreon stuff over there. That link will be in the description. If you never signed up for Prize Picks yet, you can sign up using promo code Upstate. That'll give you a 100% deposit match on your first deposit. And Riaz, why don't you tell them a little bit more about the Patreon we got?
Yeah, the Patreon is all of our picks. We give you a nice little breakdown of what we're thinking for the night. We're working on a couple other things that really just going to improve the Patreon. So definitely stay tuned for that. But we've been doing pretty well for NBA, and we've been right around even for NFL. But no better time than the present to really start off hot here on a Sunday afternoon.
No doubt, and this is around the time where people's season longs are starting to end. Maybe you've missed the playoffs. Maybe, you just got bounced. So if you want to hop over to some Prize Picks or some, daily fantasy sports, I do think Prize Picks is the way to go. Super simplified. You can mix and match sports. Like with the NBA slate, you can take a guy that's playing tomorrow, match him up with someone like Josh Allen. It doesn't matter. Or you can just take a slate of guys, 5x your money, 10x your money. It's a really fun way to play. You're in the right spot and great hands here with Upstate Bets for all your Prize Picks needs. So thank you guys for joining us. Let's get after the slate. We're going to break this down a little bit category by category. It's how we do it over here. And in the passing yards, man, anyone stick out to you particularly?
Yeah, Joe Burrow here at 259 and a half, going against Baltimore. We saw last time these two teams played, he threw for 416 yards and three touchdowns. Just really an unbelievable game. I don't think he's going to go back to having 400 yards in this game, but the Baltimore Ravens, they rank 27th against, or they rank 31st in giving up passing yards, right around 264.9, so basically 265. And I mean, just right there, that's the over on this line. But Joe Burrow, we've seen so many times this year throw for 300 yards. He's looked incredible with Chase, with Boyd, um, with Higgins. I mean, just tremendous talent all through his wide receiving core. But not only that, I mean, he's coming off a tough game against Denver, a really low scoring game, and this this Cincinnati team is definitely a playoff team, and we know one thing: they want to get Joe Burrow going for this playoff run. So, no better way to start off against this pretty shambled Baltimore secondary.
Yeah, we know Baltimore can really defend the run. They're one of the best in the league defending the run, but against the pass, they're not very good at all. And Burrow's last five don't look very good. I understand that, but I think he's in a tremendous spot. So right around his average, like Riaz is saying, I think he's in a really good spot to hit that over. Division game, must win from both teams. Should be very competitive. I really like Burrow in that spot. He's a guy that can definitely just, throw a pick too, and he puts it right behind him. He's definitely a guy, just gets out of his head. If he messes up on a drive, he's right back. He's a gunslinger, man. I really like Burrow's game. We got exciting things for the future of the league with Burrow here, but not in my division. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm a little salty that they have their quarterback for the future, and we're dealing with what we got right now. However, anyone else on this slate, I mean, I'm not going to go to Derek Carr or Drew Lock in that division game. Both scare me a little bit. Denver, defense can be very good at times. And then I don't even want to get into that, that Vegas team at all, really. And, between the New England and Buffalo game, it's hard to, make out what we're going to get there. We don't have, a Jared Goff line or anything like that from the Detroit side of things, but I think Kirk Cousins looks pretty good here, realistically. He's at 255 and a half. He's only hit two out of the last five, but they're in a must-win. Tough game against Chicago, but this team could pour on points. And we know Kirk Cousins is having a career year. He can really throw the ball. It's just been Dalvin Cook's just been really good. That's just a way to put it. I mean, Dalvin Cook gets going. Kirk doesn't really have to throw the ball much. If Cook decides to struggle against this LA front, I could see Cousins really having a big day here, but not a guy that's no one else here is really looking super good, but realistically, I like who you talked about.
Yeah, and with Kirk Cousins, I mean, definitely if Adam Thielen does come back in this game, that will only benefit him. And there's been a couple players for the Rams that have gotten COVID, and we'll really see on that defense if they do end up playing. But regardless, Kirk Cousins at 255.5 seems a little low for definitely, like you said, a team that can pour on points. And we've seen so far this year that the Vikings are phenomenal and they're also really bad. So it really just depends on what Viking team comes out to play this Sunday.
Yeah, Matt Ryan and the Falcons, they're in the playoff hunt too. But if we'll hop over to rushing yards. In rushing yards, a lot of good guys here. A lot of people that I like. I've been on some quarterback props lately for the rushing yards prop. Hurts looks pretty good. He burnt me last time, but still his last five look really good, and I know he can do it any given night. He looks pretty good. Anyone else here for you?
Yeah, it's really hard not to go back to Miles Sanders here. I mean, 4 out of the last 5, we saw him already got get over this line with 64 yards against this New York Giants team, and just the way he's been running the ball has been phenomenal. I mean, 131 against Washington, 120 against the Jets. It's just been really nice to see Miles Sanders really just kind of doing what we thought they were going to do all year. Jalen Hurts did just come off an unbelievable passing yards game, almost having 300. But Miles Sanders still had a career game with 131 yards rushing. So it seems to me that it doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts is throwing for 300 yards. Miles Sanders is still get his rushing attempts and really rack up some yards for this team.
Yeah, amazing game for that Philly offense, right? Last week. So Miles Sanders looks really good. Should see a lot of volume too. I really like that pick. A couple other guys up here at the top. Josh Allen can do it with his legs as well. He's 3 out of the last 5. Had that really big ceiling game against Tampa Bay. New England can get some pressure to him for sure. He looks pretty good. We've been on Cordell Patterson, here and there, especially for the last couple weeks. But since we got burnt in San Fran, it's hard to kind of go back to him. But I know he still does look really good. But I think the team does better when he is like more of a hybrid player. When they decide to just pepper him with carries, I love it for the prop. But in terms of Atlanta as an offense, they're better with him getting like 15 touches, 9 targets, because he's a do-it-all kind of guy. So fantasy score-wise, we'll take a look at Cordell Patterson. Anyone else here? Or do you want to jump to receiving?
No, we can jump over to 2 receiving yards.
Yeah, who do you like over here?
I'm really debating on this Bills team. I know um, a lot of these Bills wide receivers are out with COVID. Cole Beasley is out. Gabriel Davis is out. So I feel like you can really take a shot. I wouldn't recommend going to two digs here at 72.5. That could come back to bite me, but definitely Dawson Knox at 36.5 or Emmanuel Sanders at 37.5. We know just that crazy game last time these two teams played, but you gotta kind of erase that. It was just unbelievable weather. The winds were blowing 50 miles per hour. There's really nothing you could have done in that game passing wise, and definitely I don't mind taking a shot at Knox or Sanders here. These lines are very low. They should see just a handful of targets, and I can see Stephon Diggs really having a lot of double coverage. The safety playing him just as kind of like a spy. So Sanders and Knox are going to have a nice little game here, I could see.
I definitely can see that as well. I'm excited to see how that game turns out, especially after the last one. I mean, do we dare talk about an NFL video and not talk about Cooper Cup? I mean, he's at 103.5, and now there's a record in play here. He's pushing for the record, so this is another big one, man. It's hard to fade. It's like the Jonathan Taylor rushing yards prop. I mean, you had the game against Green Bay, but I believe he was at like 97.5 there, and he just missed it. It was like he was lower than 103.5, but Cup looks amazing. Not much to say about him. I mean, this is one of these guys you just plug and play.
Yeah, it's like you said, plug and play. You close your eyes, you hit the over, but uh, he's just on a historic season, and this Minnesota team, like we already touched on with Kirk Cousins, they could go out there and get the lead early, and we know Cooper Cup it doesn't matter if it's a blowout, if they're down, if it's tied, whatever. He just gets peppered with targets, and he just sees an unbelievable amount of um, just his upside is unbelievable. So uh, definitely Cooper Cup is always viable for an over.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this Madison line, and realistically, I can't believe I forgot that Cook is not playing. Dalvin Cook, and realistically, I mean, it's pretty much one. I mean, obviously, Cook is the more talented back, but Madison steps into the role perfectly, and he's a guy that can catch passes from the backfield too. But his game log just doesn't look good because it's back and forth, back and forth. Like he's playing, he's not playing, he gets no snaps. So like he's a guy that like expects similar usage, like Dalvin Cook usage. He's a guy that can catch a couple screens that doesn't look that bad at all. If you're going with Kirk Cousins, similar to what I was talking about on the Patreon, if you're going to go Aaron Rodgers, you got to pair it up with the pass catcher here. And that's what I'm saying. If you're going with Kirk Cousins, pair it up with Justin Jefferson. I mean, just been amazing all season. We've seen some really big ceiling games coming off Detroit. This is a game he's going to be dealing with Ramsey. I'm sure I still think he's going to have his way. He's just too elite, in my opinion. I know he's young and it's his second year, but he really is an elite company, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he's just like Cooper Cup kind of this season. Um, he every single night he could go out and get you over 100 yards, and his line sitting at 72 and a half is or 78 and a half is just a little too low for him, especially if Adam Thielen misses. And even if he does play Adam Thielen, I feel like that'll only benefit Jefferson even more because he'll have a little less pressure on him.
Anyone here in like kind of the 4 o'clock games? We scroll down. We got Pittsburgh and Kansas City. We got your Broncos and the Raiders. Anyone down here? Even any of these guys down here. Does anything look good to you?
I'm not really loving any of these lines. Drew Lock really scares me. And then I don't really love. I would love to see a Hunter Renfro line. Uh, I'm definitely going to be waiting to see where that is. But then Claypool at 44 and a half, you definitely have that big play upside with him. And we know that Kansas City defense has looked a little bit better, but someone with Claypool's speed and even Johnson, I mean, any of these guys are viable for a huge play, 50, 60-yard play, just blows the top off the defense. So definitely I'd prefer that Kansas City pick game, and we know Tyreek Hill is back, so I'm also waiting to see a line for Tyreek Hill.
I like all three of those guys across the board for Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh guy. Could be a little bit of favoritism here, but realistically, I mean, looking at the two Claypool's hit out of his last five, he missed the one against Tennessee, but he just, he's a guy that can do it in 2 plays. Ben has looked a little bit better. And Deontay Johnson looks really good here. I mean, just gets peppered with targets, averaging 83 in his last five. I mean, two guys that look really good in that spot. And then over in receptions, man, a couple guys here that I really like, and I really like this Burrow stack. With one of these three guys, just because that secondary is not very good for Baltimore. I think one of these guys can stand out from the bunch between Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. So I know those three guys look pretty good to me. Anyone else here look good to you?
I mean, definitely taking a shot here with Cortland Sutton. I mean, I'm not really sure why his line is at 2. We know Cortland Sutton is an unbelievable player. He's pushed 4 out of the last 5, missed with Detroit. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Cortland Sutton. He's just such an amazing talent, and it kind of we're kind of going to see a different flow with this offense. Drew Lock is completely different than Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater is a much game control kind of quarterback. He likes little dump off passes. He doesn't throw it deep, but Drew Lock he'll sling that ball. I mean, it's incredible to see. I love Drew Lock personally. I think he is a very underrated, decent quarterback. I'm not going to say good. He's a decent quarterback, and we saw when those two were really meshing. Cortland Sutton was having great games, so I feel like you're getting a nice little discount here at 2 receptions.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton and that whole like Denver, passing game, like it really looks kind of good to me. Honestly, it's not like Drew Lock's bad. He just kind of deals with some maturity issues, I think, and I question his ability to be a leader in this league. But between fantasy props, none of that really matters to me. I think all these look pretty decent. But I'd like Cortland Sutton just to catch two. I mean, we haven't seen it, and I know Locke can definitely sling it. If they go down early, it might be a narrative where they have to. Judy's the guy that can really separate himself and get open quite a bit, and he's probably the guy with the biggest ceiling in my opinion. But we'll jump over to these next four categories. We never do really pass completions. Sometimes interceptions look pretty decent to us, but between touchdowns, passing touchdowns, all the touchdown props, anyone here stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can never go wrong with Joe Mixon, even though he hasn't hit in the last two. But San Francisco's got a great rush defense, and Denver's defense has just been phenomenal this year. So just two really tough matchups. So really out of this kind of group, I mean, obviously you could see Madison find the end zone. We saw him hit two out of the last three. Against the Rams, I think there is going to be a lot of points put up in this game. So definitely those top two. And Sanders, he's more of a yards guy. The problem with Miles Sanders is Jalen Hurts just keeps sniping him in the red zone. I mean, he's hasn't hit five out of the last five. If you took the under, he's 5 out of 5. So definitely staying away from Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I really like to fade on Miles Sanders here. Mixon's a guy, we were on the Mixon train. Left the station in San Francisco, never came back in Denver. Definitely a spot where definitely we could see some nice red zone usage out of them from Joe Mixon. They might be able to get to the red zone quite a bit through the air, peppering Jamar Chase. So could be a narrative where Joe Mixon gets there, gets a 1 yard touchdown. Doesn't don't mind that one at all. Josh Allen, I think, looks pretty good here against New England. This is passing touchdowns, though. It's the thing that scares me a little bit because Allen could really do it with his legs. So if this was just simply touchdowns, I'd like it a lot more, but I still don't think this one looks bad.
No, I mean, you definitely want to see a nice little bounce back game out of Josh Allen, and he's hit 4 out of the last 5, which is really nice to see. And the only game where he didn't hit was that New England game, but he still had a touchdown despite all the horrible weather. So definitely not a bad play there.
Between rushing touchdowns and then receptions, I don't like Cordell Patterson to get one really, and I don't like Stephon Diggs to score. He's pretty much the lone wolf in this category. It feels like every week that he's just sitting there by himself. I'm not going to be going there this week. And then in fantasy score, man, we don't really have a lot of guys. On my end, do you have a lot of guys? I don't know, because on
No,
my end, I have pretty much nobody here. It looks like a showdown slate to me in fantasy
yeah, I
score.
just I just have the Buffalo and New England game. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be talking about fantasy score.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So I think we got a solid, couple picks here that we highlighted, and I can't wait to get to the slate. Again, if you're watching this on Christmas, Merry Christmas. I hope that you guys checked out the other two videos and really had a good day. And, like I said, we were kind of 50-50 on our picks over on the Patreon, but we're gonna bounce back. It always happens. I thank you guys for everyone that signed up so far. Really appreciate it. The videos have been smashing. We got so many subscribers. We wanted 1,000 before the end of the year. We're like crazy surpassing that. So thank you to everyone who supported us in whatever way. You guys are awesome. So enjoy this NFL slate. We'll see you back for NBA. Peace.